Jesus at his Last Supper gives his body and blood in anticipation of the cross. And so it's presented, though, as this gross, sort of flippant mockery.
Prominent Catholic leader and Word on Fire ministry founder, Bishop Robert Barron, has expressed harsh criticism of the opening ceremony of the 24 Paris Olympics. He called it a major disrespect to Christian beliefs, a performance with drag queens and other provocative features that many saw as a spoof of Leonardo da Vinci's. The Last Supper set off this debate. Many saw it as a derision of a Christian holy event. Held beside the scenic Seine River, the opening ceremony featured the section showing people dressed in a way evocative of the apostles of the Last Supper. Bishop Barron called this representation a gross mockery of a major event in Christian theology, whereby Jesus eats his last meal with his followers before his death. He voiced great dismay, pointing out that this performance discounted a moment of great relevance for billions of Christians around the globe. Barron said this episode illustrates a larger trend whereby modern society shows more sensitivity to other religions while often mocking Christian ideals.
This is Bishop Barron. Just a few days ago I was in Indianapolis for the marvelous celebration of the Eucharistic Congress, 50,000 Catholics coming together to worship the Lord and celebrate the real presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. So I come from that experience and I come home and I love the Olympics, so I turn on the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. What do I see now? And it's in Paris, France, a city I love. I spent 3 years as a doctoral student there. What do I see but this gross mockery of the Last Supper? And I won't describe it any further. Just go online. It's gone viral. You can see it. But France felt evidently, as it's trying to put its best cultural foot forward, the right thing to do is to mock this very central moment in Christianity where Jesus at his Last Supper gives his body and blood in anticipation of the cross. And so it's presented, though, as this gross, sort of flippant mockery. France, which used to be called the eldest daughter of the church, Paris, that gave us, Thomas Aquinas taught there, and Vincent de Paul was there, King Louis IX, St. Louis, France that sent Catholic missionaries all over the world. France, whose culture, and I mean the honoring of the individual and of human rights and of freedom, is grounded very much in Christianity, felt the right thing to do was to mock the Christian faith. A question I would pose, we all know the answer to it. Would they ever have dared mock Islam in a similar way? Would they ever have dreamed of mocking in this gross, public way a scene from the Quran? As I say, we all know the answer to that. I think, folks, what's interesting here is this deeply secularist, postmodern society knows who its enemy is. They're naming it, and we should believe them. They're telling us who they are. We should believe them. But furthermore, we Christians, we Catholics should not be sheepish. We should resist. We should make our voices heard.
Bishop Barron's criticism covered the cultural setting in which the performance was given. So beyond its actual performance, he underlined France's past as a bastion of Catholicism and voiced dismay at the country's decision to present such a disrespectful version of a fundamental Christian event. Once considered the eldest daughter of the Church, Barron said that France has now turned towards a more secular and occasionally hostile. The Paris 24 Olympics Committee released a statement responding to the criticism, claiming never any purpose to harm any religious organization. Speaking for the organizers, Annie Descamps stressed that the event sought to honor community and variety. Still, these justifications did not help to claim the indignation. Bishop Barron said the committee's reaction was a masterpiece of woke duplicity, claiming it neglected the actual transgression many Christians committed. He discounted the apology as fake, saying the real apology would have seen the performance as a mistake rather than merely expressing regret for the offense done. Other religious leaders and observers who denounced the opening ceremony as both disrespectful and symptomatic of a rising trend of anti-Christian attitude in popular culture mirrored their reaction against it, emphasizing that the ceremony should not profit on holy themes for amusement. The French Bishops' Conference issued a statement expressing sympathy with Christians offended by the portrayal. Globally, the episode spurred debates on the harmony between respect of religious views and artistic expression. Critics contended that the performance went too far, leveraging a holy event to forward a political agenda at the price of religious sensitivity. Many religious officials, including Al-Azhar, the top seat of Sunni Muslim learning, and representatives of the Middle East Council of Churches, agreed that the way Jesus Christ was portrayed was rude and insulting. The censure of the 24 Paris Olympics opening ceremony by Bishop Robert Barron highlights a rising concern among Christians about how their faith is depicted in public life. Criticism of performance captures a more general fight for respect and recognition. In an increasing secular society, finding a balance that respects all ideas while promoting mutual respect and understanding will be difficult as society works on problems of variety, tolerance, and artistic expression. Following the criticism, the drag artists engaged in the ceremony, including Nikki Doll, a RuPaul Drag Race competitors, were allowed in defending their involvement, emphasizing her dedication to visibility and representation inside the LGBTQ+ community. Nikki Doll said clearly, "We ain't going nowhere." She said she was proud of playing at such a well-known event and underlined that the representation celebrated Greek mythology and celebration rather than denigrated Christianity. Nikki explained the creative intention behind the performance, stressing that it's concentrated on happy and celebratory ideas. "There was never any sign that we would be writing a holy story. It was all about Greek gods and a big party," she said. She responded to the charges of disrespecting by pointing out that she was with the figures of Dionysus, the Greek god of celebration. The artistic director Thomas Jolly sought to expose the ridiculousness of violence among people. Other artists, including Barbara Butch, also protested the backlash by characterizing it as a particularly violent wave of internet harassment. Butch, however, declared her will to resist the prejudice aimed at her and her fellow artists. "I won't stop. Those who hide behind a screen to spew their hate scare not me," she said, declaring their will to defend their identities and artistic expressions. Nikki and Butch threatened legal actions against those who made defamatory comments. The LGBTQ+ community responded to the parodies mostly in terms of pride and solidarity. Many members saw the performance as a novel worldwide portrayal of queer culture. Le Philippe, the Drag Race France winner, said, "I was blown away, feeling both surprised and pride at the size of the event." Lady Gaga started everything, then drag queens a massive rave, and rockets illuminated the heavens. Many in the community who respected the prominence given to drag culture during such a major event mirrored this attitude. Still, the reaction did cause more reflection among LGBTQ+ people about the continuous fight for inclusion. James Leperlier, Inter-LGBT's president, pointed out that although the ceremony emphasized the work remaining to be done to attain real inclusivity in France, it also showed a good representation. He pointed out that the jubilation observed during the Olympics does not represent the reality many LGBTQ people in the nation experience, and that the community is often invisible in other public events. Although many religious leaders denounced the event, there were also voices supporting the Olympic Committee apology. Some leaders underlined the need for communication and tolerance among many civilizations. A few progressive Christian leaders, for example, raised concerns about their reaction, contending that it indicated the misinterpretation of artistic expression and the need for inclusiveness. They urged a more complex discussion on the junction of faith and culture, implying that the indignation might present a chance for more open communication on acceptance and tolerance of many identities. The prevailing narrative of condemnation from conservative and traditional religious leaders, who saw the performance as an insult to Christian principles, eclipsed these supporting voices, though. This distinction shows the complexity among religious communities over problems of creative expressions and representation. The debate over the opening ceremony raises issues regarding the approach of inclusive and representative themes in the next Olympic events. Some detractors say the backlash could force future events to be more cautious, therefore restricting artistic expression in favor of avoiding conflict. The worry is that organizers would choose safer, less confrontational acts instead of bold portrayals of culture and identity, therefore avoiding their influence. On the other hand, proponents of drag performance think that the incident might inspire more inclusive programming in the future events. They contend that the present LGBTQ+ artists at such a major worldwide event marks progress and that the reaction should not discourage further celebration of variety. The Olympic Committee should acknowledge the need of representation and keep supporting artistic manifestations that captures the diversity of world civilizations. Given the reaction, debate on how Olympic Committee should handle religious issues during next events have surfaced. Although official plans have not been revealed, the committee most certainly will consider the comments from this event when deciding on the next ceremonies. To guarantee that events are respectful of different values, this can include more extensive talks with many community representatives, including religious leaders. The Olympic Committee might try to strike a balance between creative expression and respect of religious beliefs in the next planning. It has been previously indicated a wish to promote unity and inclusiveness. Through encouraging communication across many communities, the communities might endeavor to design events honoring the values and beliefs of many groups, while also celebrating diversity. The Paris Olympics 2024 opening ceremony has spurred a major cultural conversation on the junction of art, religion, and identity. The answers from drag artists, the LGBTQ+ community, and different religious leaders show the difficulties of negotiating these subjects in a worldwide setting. The difficulty will be to create a climate that welcomes artistic expression, while honoring that many opinions on every athlete and observer as the Olympic Committee considers this issue. Future events should keep honoring diversity and innovation, opening the path for a more sympathetic and a welcoming one. Ultimately, the debate over the opening ceremony of the 24 Paris Olympics has underlined the careful equilibrium between artistic freedom, religious sensitivity, and the quest of inclusiveness. Although the performance was meant to honor diversity in community, it unintentionally set off a contentious discussion, revealing the underlying conflict between several religions and culture point of view. Bishop Robert Barron and other religious leaders' forceful denunciation emphasizes the continuous fight for respect and acceptance inside Christian society. Their worries mirror a general feeling among many Christians who believe their faith is being excluded in a culture that sometimes gives progressive ideas top priority over conventional values. The reaction has also raised issues regarding the big part international events play in promoting real communication and understanding among many cultures.